Hey Flosstube, it's Kim, aka Spartan Stitcher, back again for another monthly Flosstube update. This is video number 146. Today is the 5th of April, Saturday. It's gray and dreary outside like Michigan. Your typical now spring. If you hear any noises, it's because both cats are at the door, because if the door is closed, they always want to be on the other side of it. So, yeah, that is one of them right now pawing at the door. So we'll see if we can get through stitching or if they need to come in and pay a visit. So, all right, let's talk about March stitching. I worked on 6 different pieces, all full coverage. I did want to work on one of my non-full coverage, but I just didn't get there. Didn't have enough time after meeting all my full coverage goals. So, all full coverage month. We started, just like every other month this year is going to be the first 2 weeks of the year, working every day about 250 tent stitches on the Haid stitch along, which for me is Jelly World. So that one. I put in, the most I put in so far, which is 4,845 tent stitches. Plus, since today is the 5th, I've worked on it the first 4 days so far in April, so that's another 1,164. It worked on it, of course, the first 15 days of March. We've since gotten a second installment, so that pages 5 through 8. So before that, I was 44% complete with the first installment. I uploaded that into Pattern Keeper. I'm now, then it changed to 25%. And then since I put in 4 more days worth of work, I'm now at 27.63%. This is a 25 count, easy count. Again, my goal is to get the first 6 pages done. I can almost fit 3 pages here in the Q-snap. So I'll probably just keep it in the Q-snap here for quite a bit, most of the year. And now that you can see I have started on the next row of pages as well, while I'm still filling in up here. So it depends on the day. If I have a lot of time, then I will fill in more of the colors up here. If it's a weekday where I go to the barn, I don't have as much time to try to get all my stitching done, then I'll pick one of the higher used colors for some faster stitching to get those 250 tent stitches in. On the weekends, I do more than 250 a day. So, as I said, last month I got over 4,800. So, averaging over 1,000 a week on this one. So that is Jelly World. And so I started the month going for a page finish on Trick or Treat by Randall Spengler. This is the one I did all the black extreme cross country, filling in the pages. It took me 7 days. I put in 5,284 tent stitches for the page finish, again because the black was already there on the page. So it is now 27.38% complete. So that is the page that I got done. So it was the side of the stone fence post, and then you have a little jack-o'-lantern in there. You have another fence post coming in, and lots and lots of confetti in all those leaves. So next time we see this, my goal for the year is 3 pages, so we still have to do 2 more pages on this. We'll get to do, somebody once told me, hey, he looks like the Monopoly Man, this kid, just because of all the black. And so I always think of the Monopoly Man. So we'll see the little boy next time. But, so there is the whole piece for the pages that are filled in. And then I can't see what you're seeing. I'm just slowly showing all of you the top part of it. Hopefully you can see it. Oh, a little bit this way. So only 27% done. I have quite a ways to go. And that is my third oldest piece. We'll just throw that over there and I'll clean it up later. After that, I worked on Midnight Munchies for the Full Coverage Fanatics monthly movie challenge, which was action and adventure, because there's certainly some antics going on in this one. So this is Midnight Munchies color expansion. So it has 125 colors, just like Museum Shelf. And if you remember, I started this on Leap Day last year, and I had just started like the first partial page. So I was continuing on with the plate of chocolate chip cookies. And you think, that couldn't possibly have that much confetti, right? With 125 colors. Like, a lot less detail, or a lot less things going on in the design than on Museum Shelf by Amy Stewart. Well, this page, which was 7,471 10 stitches, took me 12 days to get done. Because of, like, I thought I was doing really well at first. Like, the page was filling in really well. And then because I do complete by color per page, so I was doing the most used colors. And then once I had most of the page complete and I was filling in the other colors, that's when the confetti started. So, yeah, like I said, 12 days, 7,410 stitches. It is now 6.94% complete. So almost 7%. This is 25? Hold on, is there a second? I'll look at it closer. So there's your cookies. Looks really good. Yeah, this is 25%, or 25 count, easy count. So, it looks really good. It just was more work. So as I said, 125 colors on that one, 12 days. So that's one reason why I didn't get to my non-full coverage this month. It's because that took so long. Okay, next we're gonna go to Kindred Spirits, and I don't have the sheet of paper with the design on here, so we'll look at it this way. Kindred Spirits by Jody Bergsma. This is the second 2 weeks of each month. I work on this and put 250 into this one. This is my oldest whip, so that's the piece we're looking at. Again, another 15 days. I got a page finish on this one. It was the partial page at the end, because I had it mostly done from February. So I got that page finished, started on the next one. I finished some colors on this. Hold on, I think I told you that last time, that I had finished colors. Let me see. 5 colors. So we have 5 colors done out of 87. So we're down to 82 colors on this. And you'll see part of my haul for this month is I asked my mom to make some more grime guards for my scroll rods. Because I have 2 sets of scroll rods that are these 36-inch size, and I only had 1 set of grime guards, and I wanted to wash them. I didn't know if everything was going to come out, so I had the fabric, so I asked her to just make some and use the other one. So this is a Halloween fabric that I had. So there is the page finish that I got, and then how far I got on the next page. Again, we are not going to see the eyeball in there. That is all forelock and ears. And it's a lot of confetti with all these different colors in it. So, kind of slowed me down. I wasn't making a lot of progress. Gives me more motivation to get more done. So, doing a lot more counting slows me down. So, you can see finishing that page also took a little bit because of all the confetti in there. So, what did I say? How many stitches? 4,205. 10 stitches. So this piece, I'm not going to take it out until I finish that page. This one is now 39.25% complete. Again, this is going to be my 2028 finish. So that is Kindred Spirits. So after I got the page finish on Midnight Munchies with the cookies, I worked on Supersize A Confabulation of Dragons by Scott Gustafson. And this is one where, again, I am cutting it into 3 different pieces. And I'm starting with the largest piece. But when I give you my pattern keeper percentage, it's already going to have a lot of it marked complete, even though it's not. So there is the design. And so the cutting it, the first piece is right down this tree, right this side of the urn, vase, whatever you want to call this, incense burner. So that one, and then there's another line going across this tree branch for parts 1, 2, and 3. So I am still way up here in the first row of pages. Look at those little dragons in the background. So I put in 7,775 10 stitches in 9 days. I was working on this for the Stitch the Zodiac and Full Coverage Fanatics for Aries, which is my zodiac sign because of fire, right? Dragons. Aries is a fire sign. So again, 9 days to get this page done because this one is only supersized. It has the normal amount of colors. So it's in Pattern Keeper is now showing 40.28% done. But again, that is after marking the sections I'm not doing on this first piece as complete. So there you go. That's where I'm at so far. So this page is like right here. So we have another one of the horns on one of the major dragons. We have tree, background, and a wing of the next dragon. So 9 days for 7,710 stitches on that one. So there we go. You can hold it back here. It's going to look so good. And again, my second set of Scroll Rod Grime Guards is a patriotic fabric that I had. I actually have another piece of this so I can eventually at some point make like a bag or something. So that is a Confabulation of Dragons. My goal for this one for this year was only 1 page. So goal complete. We'll see if we get back to it. All right. And then for the piece, my third daily piece for the month of March was my stained glass pumpkin. Goal is to put about 110 stitches into it every day, a little bit more on the weekends so that I can get to about 1,000. a week. So this is what I call stained glass pumpkin. It's actually called Halloween on the Etsy shop Sharova Creations. I am doing this whole thing extreme cross country, starting with the black. So even though obviously 31 days in March, I wanted 1,000 stitches a week, so at least 4,000. Overdid myself, of course, because I see those numbers and I keep pushing myself. This is on 32 count, easy count, 2/1 tent stitch with DMC. Everything's been DMC so far. I worked on it 30 out of the 31 days, and I put in 5,067 tent stitches. It is now at 5.92%. And look at that. It's so cool. So still only, we'll call it 6% complete, but that's almost a quarter. Yeah, that's almost a quarter of the pattern in black. And that lower point right there in the middle, that's the start of one of the eyes on the jack-o'-lantern. So, and I also, one of my Instagram posts, because this is, like I said, 2/1 10 stitch with DMC. You know, I bought that set of CXC after Christmas, and I'll show you how much I have bobbinated on that. But I had a spare piece, right? Little piece of the same count. This is the same piece of fabric, 32 count, easy count. And so what I have here is, no, I'll hide my face in there. So this one right here is 1/1 10 stitch with CXC. This is 1/1 10 stitch with DMC, black. And compared it to what I already have in work. Let me hold this up here. Get my face out of the way. So the pumpkin is 2/1 10 stitch with DMC. Obviously really solid, looks really solid in there. All 32 count. And then CXC and DMC 1 strand over here. And this is because there are some Flosstubers I see out there and people on Instagram that are now starting full coverage pieces doing 1/1 10 stitch with CXC. So this one, they're now starting pieces with that. To name a few is Stuart and Stitches, Catherine Stitches, and is it Sharon? Catherine, is that the person you initially, I'll have to get her Flosstube, and I know I recently subscribed to her because I hadn't been watching her videos. So once I get more of my CXC bobbinated, I will be starting one of those bookmark pieces, those National Park bookmark pieces, to see what the CXC 1/1 tent looks like on 32 count. Because those national parks, while this isn't wide enough for one of my Spangler books, for the book club Sal, this piece isn't. It is certainly wide enough for one of the national parks, because the national parks are like 29 or so. So you got lots of space here. Of course, not to put it in a Q-snap or anything, but I could use stretcher bars is what I think I'm going to be using. So I've got a little like 5x7 stretcher bars, or even 5x5, using they look like thumbtacks, and I could put that in here and do a national park. So at some point, I don't know if it'll be this month, I'll try one of those, because I still need to bobbinate some more. So anyways, pumpkin, 5,000 tent stitches on that one. My goal on this one for the year is 10,000 stitches. Plus, I know I did 1,000 in an earlier month, so we're 6,000 into the 10,000 already. So that is pumpkin. The non-full coverage that I wanted to work on in March, but I didn't have time. I decided, because of my new start that I started yesterday, that I'll talk about next. That wasn't being released until yesterday. So for my 100 stitches per day piece, what did I do? I didn't have one. So for the first 3 days of April, I didn't have a 100 stitches a day piece. So I was only working on 2 pieces for those first 3 days of April. And you'd think you'd get more done, but I didn't. Anyways, I worked on Jelly World, of course, and then I pulled out Victorian Lady Dance Card by Joan Elliott. This was my 123 Sal start for the last day of 2023, because the date was 123. We're dancing the waltz. Anyways, in 3 days, now keep in mind this is a paper pattern, not on Pattern Keeper. I love the piece. It just goes slower because I have to mark off my stitches and everything. So this fabric is 28 count Lugana in Glacier by Picture This Plus. It does not photograph the right color when I post it on Instagram. So you can see it's like a bluish green, right? So in 3 days, I got 487 stitches. And that's all the golds right here. That's all I did. Because I already had this whole piece and I had the lacy bits here. So 487 stitches just right there. So 3 days. My goal for the year on this piece is 5 days. I would like to get around 1,500 stitches, so quite a ways to go. So whether this comes out again later this month, it'll definitely come out at some point this year to get more progress, because that's not enough for me, but it is something. So that is Victorian Lady. A little bit of progress beginning of April. Now my new start. If you follow me on Instagram, if you check out my stories, you'll know all about this, because I have been hold on a second. The mock-up. Okay. I couldn't talk and think at the same time. I have been sharing the sneak peeks, but Lola Crow, who has done stitch-alongs before with the Greenhouse of Oddities and the Deadly Aquarium, her newest stitch-along started yesterday. With the framework was released, and it is Extraordinary Birds stitch-along. So you know I was all over that. I was texting Julie from Stitching at the Cabin. We're like, absolutely, we both saw it about the same time. There was no question we were doing the Sal. We don't need any more pieces, but there's no question we're doing the Sal. And she released 3 different sneak peeks, one of which is on the framework, which is a barn owl. Then there was a blue-footed booby, and the final one was a bird of paradise, which when the male is displaying, it holds up its wings, and so all you see is like this big black oval with 2 spots on it. So those were our sneak peeks. We were looking, it was looking really cool. So the framework released yesterday, and we have 6 weeks to work on that before the bird releases start. There's 14 bird releases, but then there's also 2 weeks within there that there are no releases, so you can like catch up. So it goes into August, I believe. So here is the Pattern Keeper mock-up of the framework. Again, colors aren't exactly exact. If you look on her website or on her Etsy store, it looks slightly different. But this is the mock-up of the aviary. So you have your barn owl here. And this is a Pesquet's parrot. It's not something I've ever heard of before. And every time there's a release, there is information about the plants and the birds in the release. So there's like a little paragraph about the barn owl, which being, American, we're familiar with barn owls. But this Pesquet's parrot, it has a bald head like a vulture because it eats fruit. And so to keep its head feathers from getting like sticky with fruit juices and stuff, it has a bald head instead. So which I thought that was kind of cool. Never heard of it before, so that was really interesting. We do know this is obviously a vertical pattern instead of more horizontal. And once the bird releases start, they will be at the bottom center of the piece. So I started this yesterday top center just because that seemed like an easier place to start. But I have 6 weeks to make my way down and get a good start down here. So this is going to be my 100 stitches per day piece, at least for April. I'm a little obsessed with it already, only being day 2. So I might get more than that done. So far, I got like 120 yesterday, 208 so far today. So 5.27% complete. It does go into Pattern Keeper except for the little bits of backstitch. So I found out, with Jelly World, having a Sal that's in Pattern Keeper is really fun to watch those smaller numbers decrease as you get the stitching done. It provides more motivation, again, because I'm such a numbers geek. So Let me show you what I got done so far. I am using an 18 count Picture This Plus Mirage, and obviously Ada. I've never used any of their Ada before. I've only used their Lugana in linen. And I had a piece of 28 count Lugana in Mirage that was not big enough. And I did a floss toss on it. I like that. They didn't have 1, 2, 3 stitch, didn't have the Lugana in the right size in stock. So I went for the 18 count. It is super soft, really enjoyable to work on. You can see there's still a fair bit of modeling, but the designer said you don't want a ton of modeling on this piece because it will detract from the birds. So you can see my start with 300 and some stitches on there. So we'll keep going with this. Get a lot of progress here in April, and then I might continue with it 100 stitches a day in May as well. Getting ready for the first bird release. So you're going to be seeing this one a lot. So that is my Extraordinary Bird Sal. Plans for April. Obviously Jelly World and Kindred Spirits. My Bird Sal. For full coverage fanatics, the movie genre for April is family and drama. So I am going to be, and actually have already started last night, working on Sunday Delight, because Ice Cream Sunday seems like a family event, right? Plus these two little draglings, they're causing drama. I mean, you've got one here in the bucket of ice cream. So again, the draglings are always up to trouble. So we will get another page done on this one. Lots more confetti on this because of the container of utensils. So I've got most of the part thread stitched in last night. I just got a few more to put in. And then we'll start doing the most trees colors per page. So that is Sunday Delight. I'm going to work on that. And then I also plan on pulling out U.S. Travel Shelf by Amy Stewart and work on a page on that one. I'll probably get some other stuff done. Might start that National Park bookmark, like I said. Let me show you my progress on my bobbinating for CXC. I've got more than one side of my double bobbin box completed. You can find these boxes normally at any big box craft store, also off Amazon. I have one that holds my complete set of DMC. And not only does it hold my complete set of DMC, my master set, I have 4 compartments that are open. So like 3 of them I don't have anything in, and then I just have a few, you know, extraneous accessories in there. And then where the lid closes, where these latches are, so the two compartments where these are, on the lid there's some reinforcement here, so I can't fit as many bobbins in those 2 compartments. Otherwise it makes it hard to close. But I have completed one whole side, and I just love how neat it looks. You know, you can see all my because what I do is I cut off the number off the label and then tape it on the bobbin and then wind the floss on the bobbin. So it looks so neat. I have 8 bobbins in each compartment, except for those 2 down here only have 7. But the problem is, we know that CXC is thicker than DMC. It's not all going to fit in one box. Because, so the full set of CXC is $447. But I got as far as color 797. That's not halfway through the numbers. It's not even close. And my DMC box, the breaking point is at 947. 947 is, everything is on one side, and then everything from higher than 947 is on the other side. And so on the second side, I've got 2 compartments and a partial. So I'm hoping I can get all my CXC bobbinated this month. But I'm going to have to use like a normal size bobbin box for the rest of them because I'm very confident they're not all going to fit in here. Because I'm only at 824 now. So 2 compartments on this side, I'm at 822 right here. So there's no way. There's no way. But one thing I found there's a Facebook group called Cross Stitch Storage Ideas. There might be more to it than that. But someone suggested using a yarn swift if you need to wind a lot of bobbins. So this is, I'm not a yarn, I don't knit or anything. I can crochet a little bit. I've knitted a little bit many years ago. But this is one that clamps onto a table or whatever. And you can adjust it to any size. And this has been helping me because, when you bobbinate DMC, it's really easy. You take the longest end and you just pull and it stays real nice. It doesn't get tangled as long as you start with the end that's the longest. I tried and tried with the CXC. It didn't matter which end I started with. It was always tangling. And so it was taking me longer to wind the bobbins because I had to like unwind the skein first and then wind it on the bobbin. Well, using this, I can, take the label off, put it on here. We make this bigger so it creates tension on the skein because it might be this big, but with the skein on it, it's tight. It's smaller and tighter. And that way I can unwind it because this thing turns. So as soon as it'll unwind it without tangling. So that's what I've been doing. It's helping me get the bobbinating done. I bought this one. It's probably a cheap yarn swift, but it was only $15 on Amazon. It meets my needs. So that's what I'm using to help me get that done. All right. We'll talk stitch count before we talk giveaway results. So as I said, in March it was completely full coverage, 10 stitches, nothing non-full coverage. So 34,647, which is only a few hundred higher than what I got done in January. So right now March is my highest stitching month. But in January I got a page done on Templar Prophecy. So there was non-full coverage, full crosses in there. So a little bit of difference. Year to date, full coverage, I'm at 94,474 tent stitches, non-full coverage, full crosses, 6,556. For the month of March, 19 out of the 31 days had over 1,000 stitches. My highest stitch day was 2,157 stitches. Lowest stitch day, I only had 413. Okay. Let's talk giveaways. So, for the, Blackwork Cross bookmark, I only had one person interested in this, which is fine. She was really excited about it. She lives in Australia. Pardon me, I don't know how you pronounce her last name, but Emily Tedescu, something to that. She knows. She had already asked me if I would send it to Australia. Absolutely, this will fit in an envelope nicely. So Emily, I will comment on your comment from last video. You can either contact me by email, which I'll have below in the description, or Instagram, Etsy, whatever, Facebook, Messenger. Contact me, give me your address, and I will send this your way. And for the Star Wars Mystic Stitch pattern, I forgot to tell you guys, don't feel bad for me giving this away. This design, which is artwork by Andrew Reed, is now licensed through Thread Geeks. So Thread Geeks has a bunch of his artwork Licensed and Charted. So I've already bought that. I bought it a couple of years ago once I found it. Slightly different size and different number of colors. What was interesting is the most used color in this one is black, obviously. But the most used color in the Thread Geeks version is actually $9.39. So when and if I feel like stitching it again, I can use the Thread Geeks version, which is Pattern Keeper compatible. But for this one, I had 34 people that were interested. I did the YouTube random comment picker, and I came up with YouTube user Shadow Broker 4619. Shadow Broker 4619. So again, I will comment on your comment. I think she said this was going to be for her son-in-law. So, and she is going to take my my UFO, my fabric for it as well. So, again, send me a message somehow. Facebook Messenger, email, Etsy conversation, Instagram, whatever you want. And send me your address and I will send you this and the chart. So, those are the giveaways. What else? That is it for the stitching content. A little bit of a life update for the month of March. I am a year older now, 44 years old, so we're fitting more in with my grays. Nothing real special for my birthday. We did have dinner with my parents the weekend after because my birthday was on a Wednesday. So we had a good meal there. Let's see. My oldest daughter had her middle school band concert, which was interesting because they played 3 songs. This is 7th grade band, so their second year playing an instrument. 3 songs, and just to give you a taste of what the music was like, you have to hear the song titles. It was Attack of the Garden Gnomes, Haunted Clocks, and Arctic Wars, Rise of the Penguin Army. So these 3 songs did a really good job of telling a story within the song. And the kids obviously had a lot of fun playing these songs. And my daughter actually had a very short flute solo in Haunted Clocks, because if you think of a clock going doo-doo, doo-doo, and haunted in a... So it was just, she was the only flute playing for a few measures as the clocks were going off. So that was really cool. The rest of us, my other daughter, my parents, and I, we went and we all enjoyed the concert. So that was fun. My oldest daughter also, now that it's getting to be springtime, she has tried out and she's met the requirements for track. This is 7th grade is the first year they can participate in track. So I'm assuming next week I'll get the notification that she made the track team. So that is practices every single day. What's fun is when she, comes home, is like, I'm so sore. Yeah, you get sore from riding horses, but, running sprints and doing core workouts, and running, like, she wants to sprint instead of running the longer distances. But yeah, it's funny to watch her come home and say, we tell me everything that they did and how sore she is. Youngest daughter has had one choir event. She's been involved in choir this year. They don't have as many events in springtime, but one cool thing is that there was a musical group that came to the school to sing, and the choir got to take time out of their school day to work individually with this group, and they actually recorded a song that was then played in the performance later on that day. So that was kind of cool for her. So, and then the day before my birthday, the girls were getting ready for bed. It was dark outside. We had heard some sirens. Didn't really think anything of it, but When they go to bed, Hopper also goes to bed because he needs as much sleep as he can get. Birds are supposed to get 12 hours of sleep. So we try for at least 10. And so I come in to my bedroom to stitch after the girls go to bed. So I was turning the lights out in the main part of the house, and around the window blinds you could see the flashing lights. And so we look behind my house, not the houses directly behind us, but the houses on the other side of their street. One of them was on fire. And we're not just talking a little bit of fire, we're big fire. Through the roof, very high flames. We couldn't see it real well because, like, my yard is here, but the houses behind me, the yards don't line up exactly. So there's actually like 2 houses that are behind me because their yards are offset from mine. So we walked outside and walked to the back fence line between the houses where we could see it, and it was amazing, and not in a good way. Watching that fire, but within 5 minutes of the fire department starting to spray water on the roof, the flames were in control. And so the girls stayed in the house, and I walked around because there's lots of not only nosy neighbors, but people that listen to police scanners and such, that go to check out whatever's going on in the city. So there's lots of people around. I talked to my neighbors right behind me, standing in their front yard, and the family whose house it was, they were on vacation because this was spring break. Everyone in the school district was off. So there was no people in the house, but they had 3 dogs in the house. And someone had been coming over, multiple times a day to take care of the dogs. Well, not to worry. Someone had broken the front, big bay window and let the dogs out. They caught one of the dogs. The other 2 ran off, scared because of, fire engines, lots of chaos. They did catch them the next day. So everybody's fine. Nobody's hurt. Giant hole in the roof of this house, in the center part of the house. And I didn't hear it, but the people behind me said they did hear an explosion. So some sort of gas leak. I don't know. But then, to make matters worse, so when I was over there, this was about 9 o'clock at night, the firemen had opened up the garage. The garage wasn't damaged at all, but I could see a car in the garage because, they must have, wherever they were actually in Hawaii, so wherever the airport they flew out of, they had one car, another car still in the garage. Well, the next day, we see on the scanner Facebook groups and stuff that their car that was still there had been stolen. And so there's a couple different, theories, whether it was insurance fraud because it was a nice car, or it was due to the amateur news reporters that have these Facebook pages and give all this information out of these homeowners are on vacation while they're on Facebook Live and giving out all these details so that people know it's a house that's not being watched and obviously has had a fire, and so they try to take advantage of this situation and see if there's anything worth of value. I don't know what happened with the car. I just know I feel awful for that family having to come home from, because they changed their plans. They came home from vacation the next day, got their dogs. I can only imagine going through, trying to salvage what you can from a house, because there's got to be smoke damage, water damage. So, yeah. So that was a big event in our neighborhood. That was our March. So we'll see what April holds. Nothing real big planned. Like I said, so the girls already had spring break. They've got a 4-day weekend for Easter. I'm working. So the past week here in Michigan, northern parts of Michigan have had a lot of ice storms. And so, if you're looking up in Michigan, so I'm down here, But up here more, there are people that have been without power for over a week due to the ice taking out power poles, trees taking out power lines, things like that. So where I work, which is a heavy duty diesel, truck dealership, we called for donations from all kinds of businesses and customers, employees, families, anyone, because we were going to take two big 26-foot box trucks up to that area with donated items. So within 24 hours, we filled two trucks to weight capacity, not volume capacity of the box, but weight capacity, with like Sam's Club donated 2 pallets of Gatorade that they couldn't sell anyways because they were mismarked it somehow, water. Then there were other businesses that donated gas cans, and we filled the gas cans. Another company donated some chainsaws so we can help clear away the trees. So the gas was for the chainsaws, with oil for them as well. All kinds of toiletries, buckets, yeah, you name it, all kinds of stuff. Generators. There was a lot of stuff. And so those 2 trucks went up north in Michigan yesterday. And I've already heard through a friend of a friend, they're like, it's can you hear the cat? It was greatly appreciated getting those things, even just water, because the power's out. So that's going on in northern Michigan. We only had thunderstorms down here. Even half an hour north of us, we had some people lost power for like a day. But certainly farther north of Michigan, they are suffering. One of our customers that I've talked about before that helps with, like, they went down south for the tornadoes to other states. They're now up north helping to try to restore power up there as well. So that is what's going on. I have rambled on enough. Time to get back to stitching, and I will see you guys in a month to see what I accomplish in April. All right? Happy stitching, guys. Bye.